authors the first time the reference occurs, and in subsequent citation, in the other citation, however, include only the surname of the first author followed by the phrase et al. So, if a research has been done by more than two authors, the first time you're going to cite them, you have to cite the name of all of the authors, but in the later citation, in subsequent citations, you just need to include the surname of the first author followed by the phrase et al. Right? For example, Stanley et al. Et al means and the others, the other writers, right? So there is no need to name them again and repeat all the names again and again if you cite the same source. Okay, this is an order of citation, how you're going to organize your actually literature review. You can use one of these three methods. In the first one on the left, as you can see, citations ordered from distant to close, right? Whether they are related to your study or no, they are not related. Bring the citations which are very far, from your research or not related to your research to the related one. In the citations ordered chronologically, you present the citations based on the order of time. For example, from the earliest references you to the latest references, from the older one to the newer one. So this is chronologically, means that you order the citations based on the time. But here we have got another method which is called citation group by approach. One approach, another approach, and still another approach. So you cite the sources which are compatible with a particular approach, which are exactly related and based on a particular approach, but and then when you finish, regardless of the time that those studies which have been done, right, regardless of their related or unrelatedness, so you just present the sources or the researches which are based on a particular approach. Then in the other paragraphs you present the sources which are based on the second approach, and the third one and the fourth one if applicable. At the end of the literature review section, you sum up the review by pointing out a gap, that is, an important research question not yet investigated by other researchers. So, at the end of the literature review, you have to actually include some, better to say, some concluding remarks relating to the gap of your study. So you sum up the review, that review of literature, by pointing out the gap and saying that this is an important research question not yet investigated. So this is the gap, or the statement of the problem, actually, that of course the statement of the problem is presented in the first section, but the gap should be presented briefly at the end of the literature review as well, which is the second chapter of your proposal. Providing a rationale for the study, purpose and significance of the study. So in the significance of the study, you have to provide a rationale, or the logic. What is the logic behind this study? Why we are going to work on this? It follows directly the introduction section. Purpose and significance of the study might constitute one section, or they might come in two independent sections. So sometimes you can see that the purpose is separated from significance of the study. In some forms of or formats of proposal, some researchers write the purpose of the study or the objectives of the study, and the other subtitles they write the significance of the study. Sometimes they bring it together, right? So sometimes they might constitute one section, and sometimes in two independent sections of the research proposal, depending upon their length and their format. You should not sound too sure of the benefits, either theoretical or practical, of your study. You cannot be so sure about the benefits that will be taken from your study because you haven't done your study yet. So how is it possible to make 100% sure that this study will have these benefits? It is conventional to sound more cautious, right? You have to be more cautious. Probably these will be, for example, the benefits or implications of these study in this way. You can write it in this way. This is accomplished by using modal auxiliaries, right? Principally may. So as I told you, you can use may, or it may be the result of this, or the benefits of this study may include or may consist of these sections. Okay, and the research proposal must arrive at a formal statement of questions or hypotheses. So after the significance of the study, we get to the research questions and hypotheses. So based on the type of the study, whether it is an empirical one or confirmatory study or exploratory study, we include the hypothesis or not. So hypotheses have to meet a number of standards. They should be empirically testable, right? That is, as I told you, we normally include the hypotheses in empirical studies. That is, they can be statistically confirmed or rejected. Therefore, in a form of a study which is qualitative and there is no empirical study or statistical analysis, there is no need to insert hypothesis as well. So the hypothesis should be clear, specific, and precise. It contain statements that are not contradictory. They should not be contradictory. They should be in line with each other. For example, they all can be in the negative forms and describe variables or establish one issue only. So in each hypothesis, you have to deal with one issue or with one variable or the effect of two variables. So that was it, and we get to the third section, which is method. So as you know, you should you show how the study will be set up so that the research questions will be answered or the hypothesis will be tested. In the method of the study, in the method of your proposal, normally you talk about the design, the data collection procedure, the data analysis procedure. You present the participants or the materials you're going to use for your study. And also, apart from that, you present the instrumentations or the types of instruments, tests, questionnaires you will use. So the discussion of method must in fact include the sources, the collection, and the analysis of data, the collection of the data and the analysis of the data. Usually this section includes statements about the subjects, those who will participate in the study. Therefore, we call it participants. Normally we call the subjects or the participants of the study. And when and where it is going to be done, and to the materials and the instruments, the types of materials or tests. In the instruments or instrumentation section, the researcher will talk about the types of tests or questionnaires that will be used for data collection. Or even you may talk about the material you're going to work on. For example, the material are these textbook series. For example, you are going to analyze an English textbook series in your country. So you talk about those materials, present them, and give different specifications of those textbooks. And the data collection and data analysis procedure. The third section, which should exist in the method section, you should be the data collection procedure and the data analysis procedure. Normally, we call it procedure section. Outline and organization of this study. What you're required to do in this section is to introduce, though tentatively, the chapters that would form your thesis, right? So the most common organization currently being practiced and used by graduate students is the 5-chapter format, including introduction, literature review, method and design, findings and results, and summary and discussion. I told you that in Imam Reza International University also we normally use these 3 chapters for your thesis. And I told you that the first 3 sections, or the first, the first 3 sections form the first 3 chapters of your actual thesis as well. So what you need to do is, after defending your proposal, you need to expand them a little bit more and update the references, and just this. And the actual study begins from this section, part 4, findings and results, and summary and discussions. Or we, based on the thesis chapters, we call it results, and the 5th chapter would be called discussions, conclusions, and pedagogical implications. So these would form the 5 chapters of your study. And the section before the last one in a research is reference, and actually you have to present the references in your proposal as well. So the references are the list of references that appear at the end of your proposal. You mention the sources for readers to enable them to locate more bibliographical information about the works that you have cited in your proposal. So you give the information of the articles, the books that writer or you have used in your proposal, and you present all, or you insert all those names and the names of the authors and books at the end of your thesis or your proposal, which is called references. So enable to locate more bibliographical information about the works. The works means those researches which you have read. So it comes in alphabetical order and follows an accepted format, usually APA, okay? Don't forget to put them in the alphabetical order. So alphabetical order of what? Alphabetical order of the name of the authors, right? So Anderson, for example, would come first. Benjamin would come the second, or Brown, for example, would come the second, right? And so the alphabet, the name of the authors come first, then the date of the presentation, then the name of the book, and then the place of the publication and the publisher. In the journals or in the articles, the name of the writer, then the date, then the name of the journal, and then the name of the article and the volume and numbers and page numbers. And it should be based on APA style, American Psychological Association book, okay? There should be a one-to-one correspondence between the works you have referred to in your proposal and the ones you name in the reference list, okay? All the references that you have included inside your proposal should be presented in the reference list at the end of your proposal. This is it. And appendices, or appendix. Appendix is the last section of your proposal or thesis. It is where you put, the, for example, test you have used, the data, the extra data you have collected, which is not, necessary to present it inside the text. So you present it in the last part of your proposal, which is called appendix. And appendix is the singular noun, and the plural form is appendices. According to APA Publication Manual, an appendix allows the author or provide the reader with detailed information that would be distracting to read in the main body. You know, they would be distracting. They're